welcome to episode 44 of The Adventures of Two Gray Mice. Today we're going to be talking about my travel bucket list. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to The Adventures of Two Gray Mice. I'm Meg.
And I'm Rob.
And we are Two Gray Mice. Hi, and welcome to episode 44 and my travel bucket list. As I get a little older and I'm looking at a little more free time since we don't travel with kids anymore, which of course is also less expensive, I am looking more at what can we do and what travel is out there for us to do that we've always wanted to do and haven't done yet. So since it's just me today, I thought I'd just tell you what my hopes and dreams are for travel in the future, and maybe someday we can get Rob to tell us what his are. I know a lot of them are actually the same as mine, so makes us pretty good travel partners if nothing else. One of the first things, and Rob and I have been talking about this for a while, and the fact that we're going to be in Seattle and so close to two of them, but yet not have a chance to do it is kind of a little upsetting. I'd love to be able to stretch out that vacation a little bit and be able to hit these two. And what I'm talking about is national parks. There are 63 national parks. I think it's 63 national parks in the United States. That does not include national forests, national seashores, national monuments, national battlefields, national lake shores. That's just the actual national parks. So these are the big boys. We've already been to several of them, and we love to hike. We love the outdoors. We are big advocates for keeping our outdoors and our animals healthy, happy, and well, and where they are. So the national parks that I'm really looking forward to doing are the ones on the West Coast. And I think that's because as a child, I traveled through a lot of the United States with my family, but the West Coast is harder to get to, being in New York. So I think we can probably do some of the East Coast ones in long weekends, things like that. And we've done a lot of them already, like Acadia National Park in Maine. Beautiful. You haven't been there, you need to go. It's the oldest national park on the East Coast. Cadillac Mountain, the views are amazing. You've got Seal Beach. If you're not a hiker, if you're not an outdoors person, there are a lot of carriage roads, there are a lot of roads, so you can explore it without hiking around. Acadia is an island itself. It has two small towns on it, so you can stay right by it. But it's just amazing. And we were there, we planned it for October in hopes of seeing the fall foliage, but it was a very rainy summer that year, so we did not see any fall foliage. They had not even started to turn yet. But the ones I really want to see out west are the desert ones. So like in Utah, Arches, I wrote a lot of these down. Arches, Bryce, the Badlands, the Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, Glacier National Park. I would love to see, because that's the corner of the country I haven't been to before. So this is the first time when I go to Seattle, I'll be in Washington State, and the first time I'll be in Alaska. I think I figured out that I've been in almost 40 of the continental United States, but I haven't been in that upper northwest corner. So the Dakotas, Montana, things like that. So those are the parks that I really, really want to go to. So Badlands is in South Dakota, Bryce is in Utah, Canyonlands is in Utah, Capitol Reef is in Utah. So Utah could be just a trip in itself, bopping around. And there's 5 national parks in Utah, and Capitol Reef is kind of like in the middle, and then there's the ones all surrounding it. It would be wonderful. I would love to one time when if I'm going to be in California, I'm going to Disneyland. I don't care where in California I'm going to be. But you've got the, I think it's called the Channel Islands National Park, which is just off the coast. It's like just seals, whales, dolphins, unique land animals, kind of just like its own little blob out there. Never been to Oregon, so I'd love to go to Crater Lake. Um, Death Valley. It's just I think I've driven through Death Valley. I've never been, like, stopped and looked because we drove from Phoenix to the Grand Canyon to LA to go to Disneyland. Glacier National Park, by the way, is in Montana. Um, Glacier Bay, I don't think we go far enough north on the cruise to go to Glacier Bay. And one of the other things I'd love to do as a bucket list is I would love to go back to Alaska and do a land experience to, like, start in Juneau, up in that area, well, north of Juneau, and explore Glacier Bay National Park, explore all that land up there before it's gone, because right now it looks like the oil companies wanna take it. But anyway, I wanna get back to the Grand Canyon, because that's, like I said, the desert ones. You've got the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado, looks great, would love to see it. Grand Tetons, Yellowstone National Park. I'd love to get out to Hawaii and see the volcano ones too, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Joshua Tree, um, Mesa Verde, which is in Colorado. That's the one where you look at the cliffside, you can see all the pueblos built into it from, the people that lived here way before we ever did. I would love to go out there. That, interests the um, history buff in me as well. And right outside of Seattle, you got Mount Rainier, which that's the mountain you can see when you're in Seattle, all those gorgeous pictures of Seattle, which is in the Cascades, and you have a North Cascades National Park, which Mount Rainier is it. I don't know. And then you got the Olympic National Park, and it's really kind of just like all right there. And the Olympic National Park is part of the temperate rainforests that are along that whole coastline. So, national parks, there is a great person out there who I follow, um, who is like dirt in my shoes, something like that. That's what she does, national parks. And I am in the process of learning as much as I can about national parks so that I can go visit them all. I'm also currently being travel agent trained with Alaska to become an expert in Alaska because I would like to visit Alaska. The next thing that I really want to do is, well, there's so much of this country I'd love to see, but I think if I hit the national parks, it's going to be quite a bit of it. Is I want to go and I want to explore Europe, but I don't know exactly where in Europe, or actually, I want to explore. I shouldn't say I don't know exactly where in Europe because I want to see probably all of it. But how can I do that and learn about the areas so that maybe then I can go back? And I really want to explore river cruises because I think it's a great way of seeing parts of a country and its culture to know if you will then want to go back and do like a land tour and really deeply explore it. Um, so, on the Rhine from, you know, into Amsterdam, Budapest to Amsterdam, uh, up the Danube or Seine out of Paris into Normandy. You can all the way up to Croatia. I can speak. I'm losing my voice again, but I can speak. Uh, you can go into the Swiss Alps, Paris to Prague, Paris to Zurich. Um, and it's just a wonderful way of seeing all these individual countries, and deciding whether you want to go back. Eastern Europe, like I said, Budapest, Budapest to Budapest. That's a tongue twister if I ever heard one. Of course, the time I'd love to do it is the holiday season because some of these larger cities and smaller cities have these amazing Christmas markets. And if you're interested in a Christmas market or doing anything actually in traveling during the holidays, now is when you need to think about it. Now is when you need to book it. But to get that taste of Christmas on the Danube, the Rhine, the ones out of Portugal, I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite seasons. And I would just love to be on a river cruise and just be spoiled rotten while I'm on it and eat fabulous food and get these awesome tours and see all these great places. And if I was going to do a river cruise, I would do Viking, or if I really wanted to spoil myself, I would do Amma Waterways, either alone or Amma Waterways with Adventures by Disney. When Adventures by Disney does river cruises, it's through Amma Waterways, just with more of that Disney service. Because I want that higher end service. I want to feel unique and special, and I want the vacation a little more tailored to what I'm doing. If I was going to tour Europe without doing a river cruise first, I would probably do it with Adventures by Disney. It's just a wonderful program. The service is out there. You can do it with just adults. You don't need to have kids, or you can do it with the family groups. Very expensive, but worth it just because of how in-depth they are, how wonderful the tours are, and because they get you access to things that you can't get access to in so many other ways. That other tour companies, no matter what they tell you, they're not getting you access like this. The last thing that's really on my bucket list. I mean, like I said, there's so many things on my bucket list. But the last thing that's on my bucket list that is a must do for me is actually, well, my heritage. I'm Irish. I'm Irish American. My family, my mother started trying to trace us back. My aunt on my father's side did trace us back. We're talking the potato famine, the 1850s, 1840s. That's when we came over here. So my family has been in this country for quite some time, hundreds of years at this point. But of course, like good old Irish Americans, we feel our Irish roots somehow. And I'd love to go back, besides the fact that it looks like just an amazing country and absolutely so beautiful. I would love to go and tour Ireland. And I would love to hit some of the touristy spots. Yeah, I'm going to go to Trinity College. I'm going to try to look at the Book of Kells. I'm going to go to Blarney, but I want to see the castle. I couldn't care about the stone. I'm going to go to the Cliffs of Moher because they're gorgeous. Same thing with the Giant's Causeway. Giant's Causeway is, they're like, they're made out of stone and they're just columns, natural columns that are all attached to each other. And it looks like footprints. Like if a giant had walked across and so you had a big pile here and a big pile there. And like a giant, each one is like a footprint. That's why they call it the Giant's Causeway. I want to stay in a castle. I'd love to stay in a haunted castle. I mean, I'd see the Ring of Kerry. I'd probably do a self-driving tour if I couldn't find a really good tour. And the joy of self-driving tours is that, someone like myself or, a Ireland specialist can plot the whole thing out for you and find you all the hotels and the castles and the restaurants and everything else you need. So you have the A to B, B to C, but then you have more freedom in the middle. Because so much of Ireland is just gorgeous. And I would just love to explore it and really just see it all. And then on the same kind of note, my husband's grandfather was born in the Basque region of France. So right by the border of Spain, France, Switzerland, is the Basque region. And he came over in the early 1900s. My mother-in-law's first language was French. He still has cousins there. I would love, with him, of course, to go to that area of France, see where Nick and Gigi were from, and just explore and learn more about the French side of my husband's culture. Unfortunately, like so many of the immigrants from that time period that came here, it was so important for them to become Americanized in some ways that a lot of them lost their own culture and did not bring it forward. My mother-in-law's first language, like I said, was French, but because of being picked on at school, she stopped speaking it, and now she can't speak it. So, and none of my husband's siblings, none of them took French in school. My kids can speak French. So I'd love to explore that background of my husband's family, of my family. I'd love to do a little more research into my family to see if I can figure out where in Ireland we came from. Was it Northern Ireland? Was it Southern Ireland? But that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm at an age now where that's what I want to do. And so if you have some place that you want to go to, what's your bucket list? What is that one place in the world, wherever it could be? It could be Walt Disney World. It could be a cruise. It could be the Grand Canyon. It could be, the Taj Mahal or the Eiffel Tower. Let me know. Reach out to me and tell me what it is your bucket list travel item. Where do you want to go beyond anywhere else? That's all I have for today. I know it was short and sweet. Next week, Rob and I are going to talk about all the new things that have been happening in Disney World. We're going to talk about uh, Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets and the new area in Hollywood Studios and what our opinions are, what do we think about the launches, what do we think about Soaring Across America, all that fun stuff. So I hope you come back then. In the meantime, thank you for listening to the adventures of Two Gray Mice. Reach out to us at twograymice@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Two Gray Mice Podcast. Until next time, I'm just Meg. Rob's off gallivanting with his community theater. Together, we are Two Gray Mice. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Bye-bye.